Good evening, President Colin, Superintendent Watson, board members. As part of our engagement, this is our first quarterly update for the Board of Education as well as for community members. And so I was told to be brief, be interested, and then be seated. So we're going to stick to those philosophies going forward. We're going to cover three things this evening relative to that. And we're going to talk first about finances, understanding the Series 1 and Series 2, what projects are involved with each of those going forward. The second part of the presentation will be a construction update. Again, it was great to see everyone at the groundbreaking today at South Hills. A lot of great activity on that, and then obviously design update for those projects that are coming here to the board accordingly going forward. So as a reminder, the bond was passed in August of 2020. The total bond approval amount is $200,155,000. And Series 1 was sold in 2020. And a net deposit of $94,045 was deposited. So that is what's called the net construction deposit. I'm actually pleased to announce that after this evening, the board has actually committed dollars of roughly $57.8 million. So coincidentally, you have a requirement within the first year to spend 15%. Well, you're at 61%. So you're actually hitting market with construction dollars faster than most districts do, which is great, which goes to the hard work that has taken place over the last year. So Series 1 is really relative to the design and construction of North Hills, as well as the renovation and additions at South Hills Middle Schools, as well as the design and construction of additions at Conant and Way Elementaries, as well as some of the renovations and site work at East and West Hills. There's also piling for technology and piling for furniture going forward. Series 2, which is anticipated to be sold in 23, is really to finalize the pool addition, the renovation of the existing pool there at Lasser. It's a brand new pool basin. It's very neat design, includes some recreational pieces to that as well. And then again, also the renovations for East Hills and West Hills, again, for that fall of 23. And then also the high school. So even people say, well, the high school's new. Keep in mind, it's almost on its 7th year. So again, what are those things that were not part of the original renovations, such as the existing, plus some of the improved athletics, which we're excited about. And through the remainder of Series 2, again, implementation of the piling of furniture and technology going forward. On the back end of Series 2, again, you have the design and construction of the work at Bowers Farm, the IA, the Wing Lake Center, the Nature Center, converting Eastover into the Early Childhood Center. Again, we'll be looking at that in the 24-25 timeframe. So that's one of those projects that kind of overlaps a little bit of Series 1 and Series 2. And then the Transportation Bus Garage, and then ultimately here at the Doyle Booth Center, Fox Hills, and Lone Pine, which again is still in conversations. And most importantly, the implementation of technology and furniture. So really sticking to the education drives construction mantra going forward. So that's on the financial end. So we're going to transition into construction. So again, shortly after the bond passed, there was numerous user group meetings. I know meeting with administrators, FFLA, the construction bidding documents were then put out and reviewed by the board. As you know, a couple of months ago, you took action on the first series of bid documents for North Hills, and tonight is South Hills. So if you've driven by North, you'll see that the ramming foundations is wrapping up, and you're going to start seeing foundations being poured going forward. And of course, what you're going to see here at South or at BHMS is, over the next 2 years, it's going to be phased construction going forward with the intent that this construction will be done for the fall of 23. So again, some of the 4 major components, I'm not going to read these specifically, but again, you can kind of see the rendering. This is the entrance that's actually facing west, so towards the football field, and the pool vestibule and is on the right-hand side along with the classrooming on the left. That's actually a live camera action. This was actually a week and a half ago, so it's just amazing how much work has taken place. So I encourage the community members to actually look at the live cam, the progress. Once South Hills or BHMS site, we're also going to have a secondary camera for that as well. So you can kind of read.
Is that on the website?
South Hills is not up yet. So.
But the North Hills is on.
Oh yeah, it's live, and actually, I was going to actually pull it up live right now, but it was actually dark. Like last night I was putting the overall touches, so I thought we'd have one with a little more action with, again, some of the foundation and site work going forward. Let's transition to South Hills. Again, large addition, cafetoriums, really addressing the arts and auditoriums, science room additions, collaboration spaces, special education, which was really important across both middle schools. And then the turf athletic field, as you know, the turf in the field house will also be there to match what's at North Hills, and obviously some critical infrastructure going forward. So those projects will be under construction for the next 2 years. So again, a lot of fun activities now that this year of work is. So if you think about it, it's been a year since the bond passed, and to actually have $57 million being put in place is just a Herculean task, especially when a lot of these were virtual meetings going forward. So transitioning to Conant, East Hills, West Hills, and Way. So again, these would be the 4 elementary schools when the construction is done. So again, that design process actually started earlier this year, again with the principals, the user groups, walking through the current facilities. We've actually had a presentation to FFLA kind of showing where some of the additions are going to be. We know we can come back in August and September, maybe community as a whole. You kind of see some of those updated drawings going forward. We're targeting right now an early bid pack in 22, January, February of 2022, getting ahead of the curve. Again, the nice thing is you're kind of beating that construction, so we don't need all that construction done in one summer. But with the targeted date that all the classrooms would be renovated for the fall of 23. And then the additions, which would be some of the large group instructional spaces, would be completed for the fall of 24 going forward. For those that may be at home and are looking for some transparency and reporting on where we're at overall, if you take a look at the link of the website, it currently takes you to the bond. So again, this is the dashboards that get updated on a monthly basis. And one of the things that we're in the process of working with communications is updating each of the building details. So now that we have a little more detail on starting dates of construction, anticipation, dollar amounts, we want to put that, so the look will still be the same, but more information is coming from French Associates and from Martin Mello going forward. So with that, that wraps up our first quarterly report. So again, I am pleased to announce that we are on schedule and under budget. We've had a great bidding environment, which we'll talk about here the next one. So thank you.